Hey guys, what's happening? See what's happening behind me? This shit and this shit over here. That's right. The Virago strip down and prep for paint has finally fucking started. It's not exactly interesting, because what I do, I just take the fucking bits off it and I degrease it the best I can, then I prime it, edge prime it, you name it. Prepare it for paint, prime it if I can, so I can lay down final colors to it and all that shit. It's just very schematic and very mechanical, you know, not probably super enjoyable, not super interesting. Just taking shit off your bike to prepare it for paint. Whether I remove the engine from the frame, I'll see. Probably I will go that way because it's quite simple, but we'll see what happens. I want to do it properly, take my time, because I spent fucking a long time building that fucking thing, so I don't want to mess it up and rush it with paint. But that's exactly what it needs. It just needs a good fucking paint. Everything else is done. So yeah, I'm cracking on with this one. Already got the wheel primed up. Since I'm changing the tires on it anyway, because they need changing, I didn't bother fucking masking this off, make my life a little bit easier, save time when I can. I'm gonna remove the forks and try to polish the stanchions today, or the fork legs, the bottom legs anyway, and some other bits and bobs. Whether I got distracted halfway through and do something else, most probably. But that's what the plan for today. Small baby steps. Today I'm working on front end. Tomorrow, day after, we work on the rear wheel, see what happens. But that's the plan for today anyway. Join me if you wish, skip forward if you're bored already, or just watch something else. Watch some porn. I do, it's pretty good. Anyway, let's get back to work. Let's do this. Hi guys, so while I'm on it and stripping bike down for paint and all that shit, there was something that was bothering me a little bit, and that's the fork stiffness, the front fork stiffness. I follow the manual when I'm filling up with the right spec oil for it, the fork oil, and because it was a kind of chopper cruiser kind of bike, the original Virago was anyway, the forks were sitting slightly bit more forward like this because of the position of the bike. I raised it up a little bit. I've dropped down the forks, the front forks a little bit, so the whole stance of the bike from being this went kind of aggressive, a bit more of a street bike. And right now the forks were a little bit too soft for my liking. The rear end I stiffened it up, and it's very nice ride, but the front it just fucking dives like crazy, especially when braking, so that's no good. And some of you actually pointed it out in the video. So what I've done, simply added more oil to the forks. A cheap way of doing it, basically stiffening up a little bit. I've added extra 100 ml of oil. I see how that goes, but what it does basically, I marked over here with masking tape. That's the fork that has not been done yet. That's how it is originally. And if I put my whole body weight on it, it dunks all the way to the masking tape. So I can as hard as I can, and it won't go any further than this. However, after adding 100 mil, you can see over here it's nearly half the distance of travel reduced, so I can apply this bad boy as hard as I can. It's lovely and bouncy, but it doesn't go below that point. So I think I'm gonna go with 100 mil of oil for now, and with the whole bike weight and me on top of it. I'm hoping it's gonna improve the ride slightly. If not, I can always undo the top end over here and just, well, not siphon, just suck out extra 50 mil or 25 mil of oil. I don't know what the comfortable level will be with, but that's one of those things I need to try and try and error basically. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this bad boy, just to match it up, add exactly 100 mil of oil and see how that goes. Let's do this shit. So as you can see, I'm jumping quite a bit back and forth, but that's just, I have no plan when it comes to strip it down for paint. Start the front end of the bike and polish the forks. As you can see, I adjusted them a little bit, and now this needs to be, as factory, it doesn't come, it's not perfect, far from it. Plus I've been, when I was working on it, creating all this, I've been moving this around everywhere, so it got scratched and basically fucked, you know. So I need to work on this. So next thing is to sand it down, smooth it up, do some plastic primer on it, degrease it, and leave it overnight to dry. This piece I painted before, I'm kind of happy with it. I may give it a refresher coat or something like this, but looking back at it, because I've been away from this project for so long, because I'm working on some other things, and I had a VMAX and I had lots of shits going on, you know it. It actually, I completely forgot about little pieces like this. That took me probably a day or day and a half, whatever that was, just to get it right. There's a little ignition mount over here and the mount for the speedo, and make this perfect, and adjusting these brackets. I just keep forgetting how much work actually went to this piece alone, you know, and then the whole bike. But this piece like this, you know, all of this is pretty much made from scratch, if I remember correctly. I reused that, I cut it off over here, re-weld that, put some brackets, strengthen it up. Yeah, completely forgot about it, and there's plenty of things like this on the bike, but that's how it goes. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get this bad boy ready for paint. even though it's matte as fuck and scratched to shit, it still looks better than it was before anyway. This is about enough what I want to do with it right now. Ready for some plastic primer. Why plastic primer? Because it's made of fucking plastic. Simple as that. Let's do this. And that is it for today, guys. It's 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and I want a beer and another beer and beer on top of that. Well, anyway, random shit's going on, as you can see. No plan, just as we get along. We got front discs over here, front disc brake being painted, some shit being prepared for paint, wheel being painted. Just need to clear coat that bad boy later on. Tire will be trusted, don't worry about it. Where are we over here? The front fairing, bikini fairing, is been primed with a grey plastic primer, quite heavy now, so it's just curing, it's drying. In 24 hours should be ready for a rub down and a guide coat, so I can make it as perfect as I can. And we're moving on. Front mudguard is over here on the ground, needs some work on it as well. Headlight has been primed before. Remember, there was a massive hole over here. I fiberglassed it. It worked pretty well. Obviously needs preparing a bit more painting. So yeah, the process started. It's a bit slow going at the moment, but it's happening, you know. At least we're moving forward. Frame will be all black. I'll probably drop the engine off later on at some stage, but I still want to do some work on the engine, just tiny bits and bobs, like changing the oil. I want to change the bolts over there, all of them, for a stainless steel. So that's before I drop it off. I want to do some work on it once I put the bike back on the ground. Forks adjusted now to more or less what I want. I'll take it for a ride, see if I'm happy with the ride level. I've decided to keep the stanchions basically aluminium, because they're pretty good condition. As you can see, I polished them up to a pretty decent standard. I'm not going for the mirror finish, no fucking point doing that. It's not going to improve anything, but I'm happy with as they come up, pretty clean. I'm not going to paint them black, I'm going to leave them as they are. I'm going to go for rubber gaiters over here, so that's going to kind of break it up, the silver black gaiters over there, give a little bit of that retro look to it. So yeah, as you see, guys, shit everywhere, but that's how it goes sometimes. And yeah, no plan, just work as we go. I think that's the best plan anyway. Yeah, that's it, guys. 2 days pretty much. What you can see over here, it's not much, but it took me 2 days of solid work, and at least we're moving forward anyway. For those of you who will ask me, another question will pop in: why don't you powder coat the wheels and everything else? 2 reasons why I'm not gonna do that. First one is, I think powder coating is a little bit overrated. It's an amazing process, but it's a little bit overrated to what it is. I've seen it can crack, you know, when wet paint doesn't really crack because it got some flex to it. Powder coating is baked and it's solid on, especially on wheels. I've seen it cracking before, tiny little cracks appear. It doesn't crack the wheels, the paint itself crack. Depends how it's prepared, I guess. But the reason number 2, which is the most important reason for me, I cannot do it myself. I need to pay an amount of money to somebody, for somebody else to do it. And I set myself on a mission to do everything on this bike myself. Well, nearly everything, you know. The things I can do myself, I'll do my best to do myself. And powder coating, I don't have facilities or the skill to do that. So I'm gonna do wet painting on it. With my little compressor, with spray cans, whatever I can, accommodate what you got. Definitely everything will be covered in the 2K clear coat. I'm going to use 2K paint as well on the actual bike and the frame. Wheels, I'm using wheel paint because it's fucking designed for that reason. I'm going to layer it down later on with a 2K clear coat as well. That's about it. Hope that answers everything. And until next time, I'm off for a beer, maybe 7, something like this. And until next, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, back on the Virago, baby steps, but we're getting there. Rock hard, have a beer, and I'll see you very fucking soon. Cheers.